Hey guys, what's up? GreenMachineSam back with another video. And today we're going to be doing a Bears reviews and rants video. We're going to be talking about, of course, free agency. I have updated the rosters as much as possible heading into 3-17, so March 17th of 2022. Major ones, Von Miller, stuff like that. I have not moved him down to end. That is something I do need to do. I forgot to do that. I was too busy worrying about getting everybody else on their correct teams. But anyway, let's get this underway. As a Bears fan, I'm kind of confused. Now, after thinking about it, the Khalil Mack trade makes sense. I just don't think it was the right time. I think they could have let him play going into next year and being like, okay, at the midseason mark, we're trading him no matter what. Hopefully his value goes up because of the fact of, him playing good or something. I just don't understand trading him at his lowest value. That was my biggest complaint. I feel like, and I didn't voice that as well as I probably should have. But going into this free agency, I thought we were going to have a pretty good year. But for some reason, we're in a weird predicament. We just went out and signed Larry Ojanobi, Nicholas Morrow, and Lucas Patrick. Now, these are not guys that are going to push the needle at all, and I understand we're going into a rebuild, but why not cut Nick? I don't know if we plan on cutting Nick Foles. We just cut Danny Trevathan. I know we're probably switching to a 4-3, more than likely a 4-2-5, because no teams really run 4-3s anymore. They like to have 5 defensive backs on the field at all times. It seems like, anyway. I understand the Tariq Cohen cut, because he hasn't played in basically 2 years, and he was a back that relied on his shiftiness, and when you blow out your knee, I think that's hard to get back. I understand the Eddie Goldman release. I understand it. I am acceptable of it. I understand the Khalil Mack trade. I understand a lot of the moves that we've made so far. I don't understand why Eddie Jackson's still on the team, being 28 and being bad. I just don't understand keeping him around any longer. I would hope they would try to trade Robert Quinn. I know he would technically have, 3 years left on his deal? But his value isn't going to get any lower at this point. His value is really not going to get any lower. Any higher. He's just now coming off an 18-sack season, or something near that, 16, 18, somewhere in between there. I would trade him. I know it's a lot of money against the cap, but I would look to a team and virtually trade him away for nothing and say, hey, you have to pay his full contract or whatever. You have to take all this money on, and then we'll just take on whatever dead cap we have to. But then we went out and signed Larry Ojanobi. I just don't understand this signing, because he signed for, what was it? Is it 4 years, $30 million? Hold on, I'll look it up real quick. So yeah, it was a 3-year deal worth up to $40 million, $26.5 million guaranteed. The thing that I just don't understand about it, I understand we're switching to a 4-3. I completely understand that. And he's a good 3-tech, and he's coming off of a career year. But he's also coming off injury. He's also going to be 28. And the money that we just paid him was equal to about the same amount that James Daniel and Bilal Nichols just walked away from the Bears for. I would much rather have those two guys than Larry Ojanobi, and I know we have a shit ton of cap space, and I know we are predicted to be one of the top cap space teams next year, at $100 million or something like that. So it's not like we don't have money. So signing him, but then letting James Daniel and Bilal Nichols walk is kind of confusing. I understand the Bilal Nichols one. I can kind of understand, right? He's 20. He's gonna be 25, or he is 25. He had some, him and Mario Edwards had some bonehead moves after plays. People were getting under their skin, and they did some stuff after plays that probably shouldn't be represented on the football field. I completely get that. But then to let him walk, but then sign a guy that is coming off injury, that just had a career year, that is 3 to 4 years older, doesn't make much sense to me. It really doesn't. And the one thing that really pissed me off was letting James Daniels walk for next to nothing. He's a good right guard. I don't care if he had a bad year last year, if you think he had a bad year last year. He is a good guard. Just because his mana rating isn't there, just because everybody doesn't talk about him, doesn't mean he's not a good guard. He's 24 years old, and the Steelers just signed him away for, I think, a little over or a little under $9 million a year. And I guarantee that's not all guaranteed. It's probably closer to $5 to $6 million guaranteed every single year. It just doesn't make sense to me to let that young of a guard walk away, especially with our O-line in shambles already. Sam Mustipher isn't that center that you can, that's like, ooh, look at this guy. He's good enough to start for now. He's good enough to be on our offensive line, but he isn't the future of the position. Right tackle, I hope Larry Ballroom comes out and plays absolutely out of his mind, but being a late round pick, it's going to be hard to convince people that he is good. Cody Whitehair is already 30 and up. I think he's going to be 31 this year. I just don't understand. Or no, he's going to be 30. I just don't understand why we just think he's so much better. I like him, don't get me wrong. And with the money we have, we can definitely keep him around. But it's a 6-year age difference between our left guard and our right guard. A 6-year age difference. And then Tevin Jenkins didn't prove anything in the few starts he had that he's going to be a franchise left tackle. So I don't understand probably letting our best offensive line piece walk away. Bilal Nichols I can kind of get behind. We've always been a team, especially for the last 5 or 6 years, where we can plug and play defensive tackles pretty much at will. We can grab guys that people don't want. You can look at Roy Robb. You can look at Brett Urban. You can look at John Jenkins. You can look at there was another defensive tackle from the 2018 team. You know, you can look at all these guys, and they went on to get contracts afterwards. Nothing too spectacular, but they did play well for us and then went on to get other contracts. But that was a different staff as well and a different, scheme. Maybe I'm confused. I wasn't expecting anything big. I was hoping for Miles Jack or Jayon Brown. Miles Jack is officially signed with the Steelers. So hopefully Jayon Brown or even Nick Kwiatkowski, because he did just get released by the Raiders. But I know we're in rebuild. I know we should let guys walk that we probably don't need in the future. But when you let a 24 and a 25-year-old walk, I just don't understand it. Maybe somebody can enlighten me on why we let James Daniels walk. I thought he was a good enough guard. Even if down the road maybe he's not worth it and we have to trade him away when we are back in playoff contention or even Super Bowl contention, I would understand that down the road. But if we're gonna go into full, and I've never understood this either. If we're gonna go into rebuild mode, why don't we go into full rebuild mode? Get Quinn, get Whitehair, get Eddie Jackson off the books. Keep the necessary pieces. Keep Roquan, keep Jalen, keep Darnell, keep Fields, keep Gibson, keep Herbert, Komet, Jenkins. All these young guys. Keep the young guys around. Trade away all the veterans we can. Sign veterans to prove it deals. And if they play well, flip them at the deadline for extra draft capital. I know it doesn't always work like that, and I completely understand that, but I think we are one of the bigger losers of this free agency period, except for, the Jags. They just overpaid everybody. But if you guys have a different opinion than me, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear your thoughts on the Bears and what they're doing. Like I said, I'm not expecting anything big, and I knew we were going into a rebuild. But letting your two very young, talented guys walk just didn't make sense to me. It really didn't. But with that being said, guys, if you guys enjoy this type of content, whether it's rebuilds, roster updates, or IRL content, I'd love for you guys to stick around, subscribe, like, comment, share the video. And I'll be back with more videos like this. I'm out. Peace.